what they check. Okay, so this is basically the IELTS exam. This is the IELTS exam. The highest you can get in IELTS is 9. And IELTS stands for International English Language Testing System. And they check your level of English through this exam. So in Bangladesh, you can sit for the exam either on Saturday or on Thursday. You can register on these 2 days. And if you register on these 2 days, it could be on Saturday or even Thursday, you have to sit for 3 sections on either day. It could be Saturday. It starts with the listening, usually at 1 p.m. usually, but they might ask you to report at 12 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. depending on the number of candidates. So in listening, it starts with the listening, and the total mark, the highest mark you can get in IELTS is 9. There are 4 sections: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And the 3 sections: listening, reading, and writing. These 3 sections are taken on either Saturday or on Thursday in each of the days. And there's another section, the speaking section. You can give the speaking section on a different day. On a different day, they will give you a date, and you'll have to be there. So it could be 1 week. Say if you're sitting for your exam on Saturday, in that case, it's not, the speaking test will take place, a week before Saturday, within a week, or within a week after Saturday. Even the same goes with Thursday. If you sit for listening, reading, and writing on Thursday, the speaking test will take place, prior to Thursday, but within a week, or after Thursday, but within a week. And this is how it works. Okay, so let's see what we have in IELTS. So the IELTS exam, as I mentioned, it starts at around 1 o'clock, and you will start with the listening section. And the listening section has, it lasts for around 40 minutes. You will find, and the highest mark you can get in listening is 9. There are 4 sections. Each has 10 questions, roughly 10 questions, and so 4 questions. It has 40 questions altogether. 10 types of questions. Altogether, there are 10, 12 types of questions. Some questions are very, similar. They're types. So sometimes are a little bit difficult than the other ones. So you'll have to keep on practicing. And you will find an audio around for 30 minutes. It's being played there. And based on this audio, while listening to the audio, so you'll be given a headphone. You'll be given headphone, big headphones, and based on the audio, you'll have to write your answers on the answer booklet and on the listening booklet. After that, it lasts around 30 minutes, and after that, you'll be given 10 minutes time to transfer your answers that you have written on your answer booklet to your answer script. They'll give you answer script. Don't worry about that. It's not very difficult, but you'll get 10 extra minutes for that. Immediately when you're done with your listening, you'll be moving to a reading section. The reading section, the highest mark you can get is 9. Highest mark you can get is 9. And it usually lasts for 60 minutes. 60 minutes, and you'll have to cover 3 passages. And there will be 40 questions, and almost equally distributed among 3 passages. The first passage being a little bit easier than the second one being a little bit easier than the third one. And there will be 12 or 13 types of questions. Don't worry about that, because there are a few difficult ones. The other one is pretty easy. It's quite self-explanatory. So you really don't have to worry much about that. Okay, so there's no official break, say, between listening and reading. Say you can't leave your seat and you can't go to the restroom. So if you go, it's you lose your own time. And after that, say, then you move on to the writing section. The writing section, it's 60 minutes. It lasts for 60 minutes. You'll be given 2 tasks, task 1 and task 2. But mostly I'm talking about the academic version today. Say if you're talking, if you deal with the GT, general training, there's little difference. There's little difference in reading and there's little difference in writing session. I'm not discussing that today. We'll have separate session if need be. And in the writing, if you're giving, appearing in the academic session, the academic one is mostly applicable for those students who are planning to attend a university in English speaking, in a university, mostly in an English speaking country. So task 1, it accounts for 3 marks, out of that 9. It's a report. You'll have to write a report, 150 words report, 20 minutes, pie chart. You see, you are suggested to spend around, just 20 minutes, pie chart, bar chart, line chart, table chart, map, process, flow chart. And you'll be also given an essay, to write an essay. And that accounts for 6 mark essay. And the minimum number of words you should write is 250 words. And they suggest you to spend around 40 minutes for that. And you'll have to write 1 essay, but the essays, there are usually 5 types of essays that you might get: opinion essays, discussion essays, problem solution essays, advantage and disadvantage essays, and double question essays. Okay, so and as I mentioned that you have to, in the speaking section, it takes place on a separate day, and usually, the highest mark you can get in speaking is also 9, just like the other ones, writing, reading, listening, all are assigned 9. In speaking, it lasts for 11 to 14 minutes. And part 1, there are usually 3 parts in the speaking section. It lasts for 11 to 14, as I mentioned, part 1. And we have part 2. Part 2 is the Q card. Q card is, part 1 is, they'll ask you some questions about yourself, how you relate with the society, your hobbies, so how you use the public transportation, your family, your education. If you're working, they might even ask you about your work. And part 2 is Q card. They'll give you a topic, a general topic, and you'll have to speak on that topic for 1 to 2 minutes. But they'll give you 1 minute preparation time and a piece of paper and a pencil. And so that's a Q card. And finally, you're going to have part 3. That's an extended follow-up question. They're going to ask you a few more questions, and the questions are usually related with the topic they have asked you in part 2. So this is pretty much, and whatever you get mark in individual those 4 sections, listening, reading, writing, and speaking, they're going to add it up and they're going to divide it by 4, and that's your average. The average is your IELTS score. Okay, so think about 6.57, 7.58. It's a pretty good, good, decent IELTS score. Okay, so and if you talk about the GT, the general GT version, for immigration, usually, the GT, the people have to appear in the GT, and in that case, what happens, so the listening is the same for academic and GT, the reading, in case of reading, it's a little bit different. And for writing, the writing is a little bit different. The task one is the same for academic and GT. And with task one, instead of a graph, this is a kind of a graph for academic. The GT people, they will have to write a letter, and the speaking is the same. So there's not too much of a difference.